Good morning, everyone. So, this is still for me because I still have time this morning, and I'm choosing to continue the Charlie Kirk story instead of doing what I had planned to do. I have a window of time still. Right now it's 7:50 a.m., so it's almost 8 a.m. on the 16th of September. So you saw me contemplating yesterday, because you will have seen this on the 16th today, which will be when I put this up. Today will be tomorrow. Yesterday. It gets confusing when I do this, but I'll put this up tomorrow, which will be the 17th. But I have a little window of time, and my mind can't get off of what else they want to say around the Charlie Kirk stuff. So instead of taking that time to paint my front door like I was supposed to, or like not like I was supposed to, I'm a grown up, I can make my own choices. But like I had told myself I was going to, I'm going to spend it with you guys still today, delving deeper into Charlie Kirk, because they said there's still more story to tell, and see what else the universe sees fit for us to learn today. I didn't realize that this would become a 3-video series. It's a series, apparently, but we're going to roll with it and see what unfolds with the more information. So, as per the usual, you guys, the healing intentions are always set for you folks. That's the purpose of this channel. That's why this channel was started. It's the main focus. That umbrella is the whole channel. That's what this channel's about. And so the healing intentions are always set for you folks. So if you so choose and you want them, go ahead, stand in your power, decree that for your highest and greatest good only and always, and, breathe that in and allow that to integrate the body. Do not follow any links or emails in the comment section of the channels. Those would be scammers. Don't fall victim to the scammers, right? So, cold coffee. Let's start right in. So I'm just going to let them do a 7-card spread. The rest of the story, please and thank you. What else does the universe want to say to us? So far, let's do a recap. So far we got, his purpose was significant in this world. We got that the information that's out there is skewered. We got that there's a narrative of him being threatened. We got that he's been waking up the kids. This is like the Great Awakening for the youth. This is over the last 2 days. I'm trying to recap. We got that this is really creating a great awakening, an enlightening. That he was. This was a planned event. That he had agreed to. It was always part of the plan. Through this chaos will bring great change. What did it say? It was the chaos, and then there was the to remember that a lot of this it's like the magician, staged. I can't remember everything. It's quite a bit. And I haven't watched yesterday's reading, and I obviously just finished today's. And I'll be posting this one up tomorrow, which will be the 17th of the month. But let's just delve right into it. Well, first, instead of a 7-card spread, I think I'm just going to go with a conversation. Where do they want to go from here? So let me get these shuffled really good. I hope you're all doing well. Having a wonderful day. Hope you had a wonderful day yesterday. Hope everybody is able to step back and not be emotionally triggered, but step back and seek the knowledge and the wisdom that they told us to be seeking. there should be a lot visible for us if we start looking. We got a lot of 7s the day before and today as well. But you'll be seeing this tomorrow. So today will be yesterday. All right. I feel like I've got a sneeze. Goldenrod and ragweeds all bloomed around right now. 'Tis the season, September, for that to be in its full glory. And there's something about that pollen that it doesn't bother me as much as it used to when I was a kid. It's like very, even as a young adult, it's very, it used to be really bad, but the more emotional work that I do and shadow work that I do with myself, the allergies are getting better and better. So it's not quite as bad as it used to be. It's nowhere near as bad, but it will still make my nose itchy sometimes. So let's see the conversation, please and thank you. More conversation that you want to tell us about with Charlie Kirk. So I'm just going to pull a card to start the topic, and then I'll do a conversation down. So with one card, let's start the topic. One more shuffle, and I'll cut them. Community. So that's where we're starting. That's the topic they want to start with. So community is coming together, talking, sharing, helping one another, and rejoicing for that. Okay, so that's the overlying energy over the story they're going to tell now. Okay? So now we'll just do a conversation downward. And remember, this is in regards to Charlie. So Charlie brought communities together to talk and spread joy and share. It was a sharing. So from there, I guess, is where they want to start. So let's do a downward conversation. All right. So this is what Charlie did. He brought communities together to talk. That's a joyful thing. This would be the energy that's still standing over him. So people are still coming together. Communities are still coming together to talk and share because of Charlie. Okay. So the downward conversation begins with the 4. Again, that's doing the work to create balance. So communities coming together to share and talk is part of that emotional journey to create a semblance of emotional balance. So people will come together and they'll tell stories and they'll do things to create a semblance of some emotional balance. Emotions are going to rise up instead of just a 3D egotistical level. People will be starting to feel things from that higher spirit point or a true emotion. And that is bringing the balance in. Coming down from that 4 of Cups, we have that 5 of Swords. And that is chaos. That's great change through chaos. A lot of people are very sad. They've thrown their swords down. They've just taken on what they've heard and they're grieving right now, and that's okay, you guys. That's absolutely okay. People need that moment. They need to be able to go through these emotions, okay? However, with this 5 of Swords, they're upset because of a misleading of information that's skewered and outright lies, okay? But through this chaos and through this dropping of the swords and this depression and this misinformation, we come down to that 7 of rods, and that 7 is they'll be seeking. So even though they've dropped their swords and they're just buying what's being sold to them right now, they will be seeking truth, wisdom, knowledge. In this physical journey, the day-to-day journey with the 7 of rods, there's plenty of seeds planted, there's plenty of groundwork laid, and there will be new groundwork that comes in that will aid in discerning truth from lies, okay? So that's our pathway. And this entire pathway will help bring in a semblance of a higher way of feeling and thinking and seeking within this physical world and journey. All right, so now we come down, we have the King of Rods. We have the King of Rods, who is always leading with the highest and greatest good for all. He's very passionate in what he does. He's very passionate. So the King of Rods has, again, come into this place of a 4, which is creating balance. So somebody very, very passionate merged and did this marriage with others, okay? To celebrate and create something that would create a semblance of balance within this physical journey. This is like a merging or a marriage. Working together to make something, to build something that is worth celebrating. All right? So through these leaders, through these people that have the best interest at heart, that have come together and they've worked hard to create something that would be worthy of celebration. The leaders literally are celebrating right now. Like, this is joyful. There's a joyful outcome to the things that Charlie Kirk has brought. The communities coming together, people that worked together to create this. It's joyful. It has created faith. So that was the intention. The intention in this merge, this marriage, was to bring faith and higher vibrations back in and ground those in. To lay the groundwork to ground this in. So I think what they're doing is they're talking about the organization. They want you to know that the turning point, I believe, is was created by people that came together to create something that would bring joy and faith back to the communities. And a lot of groundwork was laid, and that was grounded in, and that is a good thing. It was successful. Let's go from there. So what I'm seeing here is that the turning point, his foundation, was built by many with the highest and greatest good. So people came together to create this. Wasn't just him, okay? So that he could reach communities. So, and bring faith back to the people. And it was successful. These are all successful cards. And even in death, this is what's going to happen, right? More story right here. All right, so now we come over and we start a second piece of the story, and I think we've hit the ending of the talking about this particular piece of the reading. So 8 is infinity. It's a very high spiritual number. It goes on and on and on and on and on, which we know all of us do. God created us that way. We always go on, right? Energy doesn't die. This is all about grounding heaven down into earth and taming that beast. So this coming together and creating something, I believe it's the company, and we'll double check, but coming together and creating something that would bring people back to faith, very joyful, is all about taming the beast system, probably the beast that had overcome people, grounding more heaven down into earth. Ending a cycle on this earth plane where people were more interested in themselves and their own sovereignty and their own money than they were in the family units, right? Grounding that heaven down into earth, getting people to change their perspective here with that happy ending in the family unit. So we do know for a long time the feminist agenda was to make women think they didn't need men. I've got this, I've got the career, I've got the this, I've got the that, but who suffered from that really? You know, kids became latchkey, the more divorces there were. Kids now don't have a dad at home, moms are working sometimes 2 jobs, long hours. I'm going to have to get a cough drop, you guys. So you're going to have to excuse the way I talk and the way I sound with a cough drop in my mouth. Hold on. I just went outside, so that's what's getting to me is the ragweed. So anyways, they talked women into thinking they didn't need a man and blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? We're created, we're not created to be alone. We're created quite obviously, naturally, to come together and have a mate and a love and a family. I mean, that's why we're built the way that we're built. You have that divine feminine energy and you have that divine masculine energy, and when you meld the two, you've got this perfect balance. And they distorted that, right? They distorted the balance. And taming this beast, grounding this heaven into earth is meant to end a cycle of like only being focused on the physical, like, oh, I can provide for my kids, I can do this, I can do that, and being all about me. Or men being only driven to be all about them and not wanting a family. This goes both ways. They've really tried to neutralize and destroy the nuclear family. And so grounding heaven into earth was really meant to end the cycle of where everybody thinks they're just so damn good and sovereign and they don't need anything or anyone, because that's incredibly imbalanced, and it was all a big illusion. And so that was the whole point, was to ground that heaven back into earth and tame that beast, and bring happiness back into the family unit. That was one of the biggest things that this organization was working to do through Charlie Kirk and hitting the communities, to get people to see a different way of being and how they'd been tricked with that magician. So that's what his organization was all about by the look of this reading, and what he was there doing to bring faith back in, to bring family values back in and end this cycle of that we've been in for so long now, where it's the nuclear family has been destroyed and it's one person doing it with the kids, or or even choosing not to have children or families because they don't need anything other than their career, their money, and their earthly pleasures. There's a massive imbalance here, and really the Turning Point USA and what Charlie was doing within communities, one of the biggest things that he was hoping to achieve through this was that shifting of that dynamic and showing what a great trick that was, the illusion of that, and bringing families back together, hoping to create family units again, real family units where you have two parents loving and supporting the children, and two parents loving and supporting each other, and allowing their energies and their differences to enhance and balance rather than be so off balance the way things have been. So I believe that's what you're saying here, and I'm just looking for some confirmation. So he was doing more than you think. He was teaching he was teaching about country and the Constitution and what this country was founded on. He was teaching about family units and God and emotional health even. Lots going on there with this organization, bringing so many things to the communities just by doing what he was doing. So it looks like that's what the Turning Point was all about, to bring back the nuclear family, get people more balanced emotionally, bring back faith in that higher power, and yeah, bring in a emotional health and balance. So let's see. So that, yes, that's what Turning Point was created for. With the King of Cups, there's a lot under the surface with the Turning Point USA that we don't know. But that's what Turning Point USA was all about. And he really did have a big focus on family values and taming that beast where people were deceived that it was better to be alone. And they really went through that deception. And so it was to ground back in the nuclear family and to bring people back to their faith and to create a semblance of emotional balance, get communities coming together and sharing all of this with communities. And through this event, to create more people to seek the knowledge and to ground in what Turning Point was all about. So there's a lot there with Turning Point. More than just talking to kids about politics and God, and but it was really to ground in that family value. And he was very pro-life, and he tried to explain why an abortion is murder. I mean, he was really grounding in those family values. Very important, and rejoice. He's gotten through to a lot of people. All right, so we'll move on from there. So that's the Turning Point and family values. So what he was doing was really making a difference with these family values, which is good to know because, boy, we won't even get me started on that topic. It would be another long talk. I'd be talking for a long time. All right, more conversation, please. So that's what Turning Point was all about. Family values, faith, higher power, emotional balance, community. All right, so we come over and here we go with a little bit more conversation. Still discussing Charlie Kirk, so we're talking about the Queen of Swords. So, coming forward, speaking truth boldly. That's what the Queen of Swords does. Coming down, grounding in, with the Seven of Rods, you lay the groundwork and you ground in more from a higher perspective, that 7, right? But he did it with love, covered in love. Not just knowledge, information, words, not just ego, not just giving it to him straight, not just speaking the truth, but with love, grounding in this information with love to create a wake up from people that, for me, judgment is, they're climbing out of coffins, but you literally are dead, and you're being woken from the dead, and that's 20, so that's 2, that's balance. It's the wake-up call, it's the judgment. And so I know a lot of other people might see this as, they've been dead and now the angels come in and wake them up and they can be taken on to heaven or whatever. But for me, Spirit sees this world as kind of like our life in this body, in this physical body. We're dead. When we lose somebody, we call it a death. But Spirit sees it as being born again. When we come in here, they kind of see it as a death because we are so limited in this body, right? So we don't see color as brightly. We don't, everything's dumbed down for us to be here and have this 3D experience. And so for me, judgment is taking these people that are really, really dumbed down and they don't have their faith to wake them up, to spark their inner knowing, their heart chakra, their third eye, to start to break through the veil of the 3D and what's beyond. They're really dumbed down. And so for me, judgment comes in, Spirit comes in and says, come on, you guys, it's time. Like you've been living this, you've been getting up every day, living this life which is really more out of a death than of a life. And with judgment, there's a light that's sparked into them that ignites them, that wakes them up. And so now they're reaching balance, which is what we're meant to do here, ground heaven into earth, have the 3D experience, but from a higher perspective. And that's what happens for me with judgment. And so the information coming in from Charlie Kirk and the way it was delivered and the groundwork that he laid and the information that he would bring in and the way he lived his physical life and grounded in the example of that physical life and washing it all in love sparks. This is all sparking. He sparked a great awakening. And I think we've, in the last 2 days with the other readings, we definitely have seen how he had, through this, it is a great awakening. It's a time of enlightenment. This is the event that wakes up the youth. This is a bigger deal than maybe a lot of people even understand. And Turning Point was all about this. That was the goal. And there's so much more to that with that King of Cups that we got. There's so much more beneath the surface of Turning Point that a lot of groundwork was already laid, but I bet more can be done. And so I think what they're alluding to is other people picking up the staff and continuing on with this mission. So I want to ask if I'm picking up what they're laying down. Am I picking up what you're laying down? Yes. So I'm picking up what they're laying down. They're alluding to other people continuing on with this work and picking up the staff and continuing this work. And I think what they're saying is many people will, because of this, because of Charlie, because of this event, because of the impact that he had, because of what the Turning Point was doing, how it was changing things. And not only will people pick it up, but with the King of Pentacles, many will, because this is abundant. So through this event, you're going to have many people that pick up the staff. And continue on from the groundwork that Charlie Kirk has laid already, and the integrity that he had and the truth that he had in what he was doing, and the love that he had for what he was doing, to wake up and spark light and spark true life back into people that have been so disconnected that in Spirit's eyes, they are literally just the walking dead. An abundance of people through this event are now going to carry on and ground more things into the foundation of what Charlie Kirk already grounded in. So that's important. So many people will pick up the rod, they'll pick up their staff, and they will continue the work that Turning Point was doing and build off of the groundwork that they've already laid. And a lot of people will do it. An abundance of people will do this to bring people back to their faith, back into emotional balance, and back into family values in a way that resonates with who it needs to resonate with. Listen, I don't need, personally in my own life, I don't need to have an understanding that when we abort, which means to end the mission, which means to end the life, a baby, that's murder. I'm an old lady. I've already had my baby. I'm not what is going to be filling this world with children at this point. I'm beyond that, right? I'm not the ears that really need to get through to. I already have my own views on all of this. And obviously you guys know, I'm of that conservative mind, and I've always tried to not judge another for, it's not my place to judge people. I can only judge myself, right? So, but I've always tried to have compassion and understanding for people that make that choice even though that choice makes me sick, and it's not a choice I would make, okay? So it's not me that they need to get through to. It's these young kids. When I was a kid, this is how much shit's changed. So when I was a kid, teenage pregnancies happened. Teenage pregnancies. And nobody wanted to have an abortion. Nobody wanted to do that. That was the last friggin' thing on earth anybody wanted to do. Nobody wanted to do it. And you would have had to have been in some pretty dire, desperate situations to actually go through with that. Nobody did it. And then for the people that did, because they felt like they had no other choice for whatever reason, I remember one of my friends just fallen into the depths of depression like you just wouldn't believe. The trauma and the despair and the guilt and, all of these horrific things that she went through because of a choice that she made that she was never comfortable making, because nobody wanted to do that shit back then. And this was the 80s. Like, that was a last friggin' resort. And people suffered for it. Now people don't even take birth control. They don't try to prevent a pregnancy. They just abort them. We got some real problems. So it's obviously not my generation or any of us, because I doubt like hell I've got any young people on here. But maybe I do. I don't know. But I doubt it. I think energetically it's probably all people my age and within our age range, right? Like, past childbirthing years. I think it's us, the older people on here, I think. That's what it feels like to me anyways. People of my own generation, maybe a little younger than me and a little older than me, but like all kind of the same era type, the same understandings, the same thought processes. The world was different when we were growing up, put it that way. So the kids have really been indoctrinated into just doing these things. So the younger generations, they just do it. They just do it. They don't think twice about it. They've been taught that that is not a baby. That is not a life. They just look at it like a pile of cells. They just have lost that connection. They don't see it as murder. They don't see it as killing anything. There's a disconnect. There's a feeling that's disconnected. And Charlie has been trying to pull that higher perspective of that feeling, that godly feeling back in with that Four of Cups, right? And bring emotional balance back into people because people are shut off. And they're only worried about themselves and what they can get, what they can achieve, that self-gratification. So turning point is waking people up from the dead because they're literally dead inside. Bringing them back to that family value, that higher way of feeling, that godly way of feeling. And this event is going to ignite more people to pick up that staff and ground this back in. So looks to me, with that King of Cups and so much more coming up from the surface, that Turning Point USA and the work that was being done and this event that has happened with Charlie, a lot of people are going to pick up that staff and work off of the groundwork that he's already laid and ground in more to really bring back family values. So I believe Spirit is saying that this is the beginning, the turning point where the youth is directed back towards the family values, the nuclear family, the viewing of a life having value and not being so, because it's like in the Bible when Satan talks to Jesus and offers him the worldly things, but all this can be yours, right? All this. And it's just worldly things. It's void of that divine love. It's void of what really matters. And that's what the youth had been. That's what people were being trained into. Worldly pleasures, void of that light, that spark, that God, life, faith. Just quick, get your next drink, get your next fix. Fill yourself up with these things, money, this, that. The lack of morals, the lack of value, the lack of divine light. And that's why they're never happy. Because you can have very little, and when you're lit up, when you have been ignited with, I'm going to get emotional, when you are lit up with God, and you are lit up with that type of love, and you feel that divine love, you can have very little and be happy. A simple life can bring you so much joy because you are lit up. You are ignited. But without that, you're void. And so Turning Point was grounding that back in, lighting people up, waking people up from the dead, bringing that divine higher perspective, that higher feeling, that divine feeling, to balance people again so that they weren't just 3D, but they bring in that balance of that divine through the heavens, the feeling, waking up the feeling to get people back into love, ignited, back into light, to bring back that nuclear family and that love of family and children and life. And now many people will be doing that, you guys. This event not only has sparked an awakening by the look of things, but it's also sparked that divine, I'm looking for the words, it's igniting the divine light within. In other words, not today, Satan. You don't get to win anymore. More and more people are going to come back to values, morals, love, light, feeling, family, balance. Not today, Satan. So it's huge. This is huge in many ways. So many people will be picking up that stuff, right? And abundance with that King of Pentacles. So let's get a little more story. This is, so it's more than an awakening of the crown. It's literally an awakening of the heart and the soul. It's quite literally moving the darkness out. This event is moving the darkness out. And we're reaching the next generation of people that are going to be having children and procreating and keeping the human race going. And big shift right there. That's kind of a big deal, you guys. So don't worry about the kids. They've been enlightened of all these dark things, right? And they've been enlightened. Their root chakras are being ignited. Their passion, their vitality, their drive is being ignited. Through pain comes a new perspective. have room to keep going down. So I'm going to go this way as if we're continuing this conversation, okay? And then we'll pull it all together in just a minute. Okay. So don't worry, you guys. Don't worry about the kids. These kids are, they may have been brought into a situation where the foundation, the neighborhoods are crumbling, like their environment is crumbling. Don't worry about them. They've been enlightened. Okay? The kids are being enlightened and they're seeing things for what it is. They've been ignited. Their vitality, passion, all of these things have been ignited and they've been enlightened, and they're seeing how ugly and distorted things were. Through their pain comes great change, right? So through their pain comes great change. And there is going to be quite an uproar with the youth around Charlie Kirk's death. A lot of tears. The kids are shedding a lot of tears. But they've been enlightened to all of this shit that it's like his death drove that point home with the kids, okay? So they're going through their pain, which is a good thing, because then once they've felt every bit of this chaos and allowed for that change, there's a lot they'll put behind them. They're going to see things with a new perspective, much more balanced. But this is the interesting thing. It's not just in the physical journey. It's opened them up energetically. So there's an opening energetically. So now they're picking up. It's like their antennas got ignited. And it's opened them up emotionally with this King of Cups. And so because of this, it's creating a great change within the way they view things and take on information. It's changing their discernment as well. So they're recognizing lies. They're recognizing skewered words, which is very interesting. And this is all about the children, right? Being enlightened. So this is really a time to celebrate. This is cause for celebration. So don't worry. They've been ignited. Their energy fields are opening up. Energetically, they're being balanced. There's a balance that's coming into them through this hardship and this sadness. And it's really bringing them back to not just family values, you guys, but old-fashioned family values. Because with the Ten of Pentacles, it's not just the mom and the dad and the kids. It's the mom and the dad taking care of grandpa with the kids and the dogs. And of course, you know, that's something that really, you know, we've lost that. And so it's celebrate, because old-fashioned family values, solid ones where you care for that which you love, are coming back. They're coming back. And this is all divinely guided, you guys, with divine love. This event, everything covering it, Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA, all of this is divinely guided to bring women back over and see the deception when it comes to these family values. Because let's face it, you guys, women need to be woken up to this, because women are the ones that are out there screaming, my body, my choice. Women are the ones having abortions. Women are the ones saying, I would never get married. Women are the ones that are so concerned with their looks that they, they don't want to have a baby. It might make their belly flabby, their boobs sag, and their ass drop. The vanity, the 3D bullshit. And I just want to be pretty. And if I do have a man, I just want to have a man that's making muku bucks. And I want to be treated like a queen without bringing anything to the table. Like, I'm a woman, and I'm just being honest. There's some serious problems with what I've been seeing over the last 20 years with women, with the women of today. Like, they want to be treated like spoiled little angels, but they have zero skill. They have zero skill to bring. They have zero skill to bring to a relationship. They're not emotionally healthy. They're really 3D and like, oh, I'm pretty and I can do my makeup. So any guy should feel as though they're privileged to have me because I'm gorgeous and I spend 3 hours making myself pretty every morning, and I weigh 117 pounds, and they can't see past the 3D. And they bring zero skills. A lot of the women today don't know how to cook. They clean? No, they can't clean. They can't clean a home. That would take away from their lipstick applicating and their their contour applications for their makeup, the 10 layers of makeup that they put on to look like these Hollywood whatever. So there's some real problems. They don't want to have children. They don't see children as, and I'm not saying all women, but this is like this is the umbrella of what's been created. They want money, they want things, they want material things, but they lack emotional health, emotional balance. They act like brats. I mean, there's a lot of problems. So it is the women that need to wake up to the fact that they've been deceived. Because it doesn't matter how pretty you are on the outside. If the inside is ugly, the outside is ugly. Abortion is murder. I don't care if people like it or not. It is what it is. Like, it is what it is. It's murder. You're ending a life. It's murder. And, women have been greatly deceived. Oh, you can do anything a man can do, only better. What a line of bullshit that is. There are things I can't do because I'm not a man. I'm not built like a man, and I can't do things the way a man does. I can do some things that a man does. If I want to and try hard enough, I can. But am I going to do it better than him? Probably not. I'm going to tell you what. Probably can't do it as fast as him. So if you're hiring me to sheetrock for you, and I'm a very capable woman and I'm strong, I'm still not going to be as strong as a man. And therefore, if I don't have that physical stamina and that physical strength, I'm not going to be as fast as a man. And so I'm not going to be able to do that job better than him. I may be able to do it, and I may love it, and I might be eternally grateful if the guy that runs the company decides to give me a shot at doing something I love, because I'm one of those women that like to do something alternative. And I'm obviously not speaking about me right now. I'm just saying, I'm using this as like a story and example. But I'm never going to be able to sheetrock faster than the guys next to me. And the women have really been deceived. And so the women really need to wake up. And that's really what's going on here. This is like divinely guided to bring the women back. It needs to happen. I'm not saying women all suck and the men are all great. Everybody's been indoctrinated to some degree, but if we're going to continue to populate, women have to stop murdering their babies. If we're going to be bringing back the old-fashioned family values, women have to be willing to step into their femininity, because The feminine energy is more than putting on makeup and doing your hair and wearing jewelry. So it's women that has been deceived. So that's where the shift is happening. And so there's a big shift there. A big shift there. And just like this, you see, this is a little boy helping a little girl. And emotionally, right? So that's a shifting and a balance in how the masculine energy kind of wants to look after and care for, right? Even as a child. And this was sort of ripped away from us, the programming and stuff. And so don't worry, all of this is coming back to pull us back into balance. To balance things, to truly balance things here on the earth plane with the old-fashioned family values again, and women seeing that they've been deceived. So rejoice. Rejoice. This is a shift for women. It's a shift for everybody. It's a shift. But the universe wants to say this is huge for women, for the youth. Women will be coming back into their femininity, and they're coming back into that place of where we feel from a higher place instead of being covered in darkness. So is that really that's probably like, as we built the story around Charlie Kirk and his work and his path and all of this, I think the universe wants us to know what a huge deal this is. And it is because of the work that Charlie Kirk did, Turning Point USA, that the women are going to see the deception, that they have been deceived. The youth, the people who will be going forth and getting married and having families. Because I've already done that, right? I already did that. And you guys probably already did too. But the women, this is turning the women around. And this is bringing the divine feminine back in. Oh my God, I just had a light bulb moment. So I've always known that the Aquarian age was going to bring in the divine feminine. And you can't be a divine feminine if you're murdering your babies. And if you're not stepping into that energy to help create the balance with the masculine, because so many women are also really in toxic masculinity. That's where that whole, that I can do it better than you, even though we can't, shit comes in, right? My God, this event with Charlie Kirk is a big piece of how the divine feminine is going to be ushered back in, because through his work and through others picking up, an abundance of people picking up his sword, his staff, and continuing with his work, the younger generations are being ignited. They're being woken up. The women are going to see the deception, step back into their divine feminine, and get back into the family values again. So is that what you want to say above and beyond everything else? Is that what you want to say? Holy shit, you guys. My heart's beating. I feel like crying right now. I think we just figured it out, why this is such a big deal. Wow. Great change through pain. Wow. Great change. Great change. 2. Which create an ending, which creates an ending. Great change through these thoughts, these words, this process, this entire narrative, the narrative war, the pain, the suffering, the emotional trauma creates all of this great change to put that old way of living behind us, start something new, and just surrender. So the old way is dead now. They want you to know. All of this chaos, it's dead now. The old way is dead now. We've reached it. This is it. So allow don't get upset for us that are already awake. Allow the information, allow the chaos, allow this to happen and unfold. Allow people to throw down their swords in despair and depression, and allow people to shift on their own and find those scared words. They'll recognize the lies. They'll recognize the scaredness, but allow the pain. Allow the people around you. You don't have to prove to them that this is a psyop. Allow the pain. Allow the lies. Allow the pain. Allow the feelings. Because through this creates that shift of putting an old way behind us and just ending a cycle of ickiness. And pulling in a very high frequency. It's going to shift frequency with the high priestess, create balance. She's very feminine, and she sits there between that dark and that light, and she knows what is what. She knows what is what. And she is the divine feminine. That's why you have the pomegranates. She is very much in her feminine. All of her power. All of her power. She holds balance between dark and light. We have come into a major shift, you guys. We're completing a cycle of the old. And so we have to have this pain first. We have to let people go through this. So don't be too concerned about trying to wake people up to this event. Let this event unfold and people to go through the motions. The truth will be found eventually. But this event is creating far more. You saw 3 days worth of readings. There's so much more to what will become of this than any of us even really imagined. It's not just waking kids up. It's not just waking kids up to a conservative way of being. It's not just waking kids up to having faith. It's not just waking kids up to the country and the Constitution and reason and logic and conversation and emotional balance. And it's so multi-layered, and it's bringing back the old-fashioned values, the ground in heaven into earth, taming the beast, where the beast system, where it's all about earthly pleasures and people have lost their spark. It's waking up the divine feminine. It's so many things, you guys. It's huge. It's huge on so many levels. And we're awake, so we can step back and we can observe and not absorb. and see that this is huge for a lot of reasons. So just allow this to go, allow people to go through it. That's through the chaos of it is what's going to bring them to this surrendering of it and to assessing things, putting an old way behind them and starting something completely new, more balanced, more healthy, and more more abundant on this journey. I know that in the Great Awakening, everybody's like, "Oh, I've got to wake everybody up." They're saying, "No, like, no, you don't have to tell anybody this is a psyop. No, you don't have to show anybody anything. We have to, right now, the best thing that we can do is allow this to unfold for everybody individually in whatever way it needs to. They'll find their information. They'll find their feelings. Like, this is all going to unfold the way that it needs to. We just need to allow it because this event is changing things that significantly. So for those of us that are awake, we don't need to wake anybody up to the fact that it's a psyop. We want to allow this process for people because they'll wake up to the fact that it's a psyop. They'll wake up to the fact that there's untruths and things that aren't clear and things that are obscured. They'll wake up to all of it. This is all going to be surrendered to. But let it unfold for each person individually the way it needs to. Because it will have the desired effect. They have to go through the feeling of it. They have to go through the questioning of it. They have to go through the mind screwery of it, They have to endure the mind screw. They have to endure the emotional trauma. It's what will bring upon these huge changes that will happen. Through this is probably what will encourage people, other young people, to pick up their staff and talk to other young people. So this is bigger than anything we might have been imagining. And they want us to allow the process for people because it's through that the surrendering comes. Okay, so with all of that said, I'm an hour and 8 minutes in and I do have to rock and roll because it's just a couple minutes from 9. So now how have I done? Can we be done? Have I done a good job bringing forth messages in these 3 readings? Are you satisfied with the work that I've done? Oh, please, 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 please tell me that we've finally completed this. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. My goodness. So, wow. They're saying, holy shit. Yeah. So anyways, they're saying I've put a lot up. Like, I've given you a lot of information. I've done a lot of work bringing you information. With that, I've brought you good information, you guys. And I've done the work and we've hung it up on the board, right? I brought you a lot. But they're saying there's actually more to bring. And I've got to go. there's more to bring, and it looks like, you know, with that, it could be, it could even be like a story around funding. Who knows? Who knows? So I'm going to ask you this. So I've done a good job with that 8. Good job bringing the higher perspective, hanging up the work that we've done, getting it up there, getting it out there. Yes, I've worked hard on these. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that. Because this is work. But there's more to come. There's still more that could be looked at or journeyed on when it comes to this whole Charlie Kirk thing. So I guess with one card I'm going to ask, let me get a sip of my coffee. Good Lord. I guess with one card I'm going to ask, so this reading that we're doing right now will go up tomorrow on the 17th. But I'm wondering if tomorrow on the 17th, where I wouldn't have to do a reading because I have this to go up, if you would want me to do another reading that would go up on the 18th, and continue with the story of Charlie Kirk. Or, you know, is this just stuff that will come later? Or do you want to continue this journey of putting up information spoken from the universe around Charlie Kirk, the work he did, Turning Point USA, the differences that it's going to make, and all of that? Do you want to continue the story tomorrow? Please and thank you. One card. Do you want to continue the story? Oh, I gotta shuffle that better. It was a bad shuffle. There we go. And I'll cut them 3 times. So tomorrow, do you want to continue the story of talking about Charlie Kirk? It's saying we don't have to. So basically what it's saying is there is still information out there about him. We haven't done it here. We haven't hung up the work here, although we have gotten up a lot of information here. So when I asked if I needed to continue this story, if they wanted to continue this story and hang up the rest of it, they said we can walk away from it. We can walk away from it. There is a missing hole in it. There is something missing, just like right here. But it's not needed at the moment. So we don't have to do that. We're being guided right now. They want us, now that we've got the bulk of it, but they do want us to know there's more. There's more to come here, you guys. There's more information. There's more work to be done. That undoubtedly will get done because this guy always completes his work. So to come, there is work that will be hung up about Charlie Kirk, so that you know. But we don't have to focus on that right now, even though we're missing a piece, that piece right there. We can allow our intuition to guide us. We're being led to go with passion somewhere else. So there's another topic out here that they want, that we will be addressing, that we need to look at right now. So we can come back to Charlie Kirk later when something else gets pulled up, or whenever they pull it up on us. But right now we can walk away from it. there's something else that we're supposed to be being guided to passionately. Now, the secondary messages to this would be Charlie Kirk's work is not done. We know that, right? We already got that. Other people will pick up that staff. That work in itself is not finished, and it will continue to, that type of work will continue to happen. And Charlie Kirk has been walked away. And this is a walked away and is safeguard for me. So just going to double check. As far as those secondary messages, did I get it? Did I hit it? And then we'll be done. See. And again, you know, this is just what I'm getting, you guys. All right. Another cup. Let's just let him talk here. Okay, what are we going to focus on? All right, so kids. Systems, pokes. So the next thing we want to be looking at, you guys, I guess, is the pokes. Childhood pokes. What it's doing to create suffering. Lowering vibration and frequency. And what it's doing to create a hyper focus on things. So I would say this is the autistic card here. So that's the next thing they want us to focus on, is the autism that's created from the pokes. So is that correct? Please and thank you. That's where we're going next, you guys. That's where they're taking us next. Is that correct? Please and thank you. That's where we're going next, you guys. And again, that's more deception that women have been through, right? Because women carry babies and they get poked during pregnancy. They take some drugs during pregnancy. And then it's usually the mom that's more involved in taking the kids to the doctors, believing what the doctors say, getting and having the vaccine schedule and stuff. So that's where they want us to focus next, you guys. So instead of focusing on Charlie Kirk and stuff, I think what they're also telling us is that it must be just about time for this information to come out with Robert F. Kennedy. And there's going to be a distraction. This is creating a bit of a distraction. But this is what we're going to do for the next reading. We're going to let the universe talk about the childhood vaccines, how it lowers the vibration, how it makes the body sick and suffer, and how it creates that hyper-focused brain, you know, the autistic effect. So that's where our team, my team, and I believe you guys' team, if you watch, then your teams are talking with my teams, right? Because we're kind of all working together here. That's what our teams want us to be focusing on next. And again, that's opening the women up to the deception and the things that they've been deceived about. So interesting. We can walk away from, this is just huge. so much happening so fast. So there's a huge shift that's taking place with this whole event with Charlie Kirk. And, you know, we've got this information that's coming out around autism and the childhood shots and stuff. And we were just told that they want us to read on that. They want us to focus on that here in the coming days. So not just me reading on it, but they want us all doing they want us to pay attention to what's come out around that. And then they're saying it's a big deal to them. It's a big deal to us, but they're saying it's a big deal to them by giving us that little tidbit right there. And I just want to say, for me, the waking up of the feminine, the waking up of the women seeing that they've been deceived and bringing back the family values, to me that's huge, and that makes me super happy. And I'm just gonna say, you never know. We never know how we impact people. We never know. We could just be being us and run into somebody, and we could impact them negatively, or we could impact them positively, right? We just don't know. Part of it is how we're behaving in the world, and part of it is how emotionally triggered that person is that encountered us. Whether it's a positive or a negative experience. But I just want to say that for me as a woman, to hear that through the work that Charlie did and through the continued work that will happen, that women will be brought back to a place where they can see that they have been being deceived, it's just huge for me. Highly emotional. I feel it in the depths of, like, my whole body, my heart, like, exploded with, I thought I was going to cry. It was just really emotional. So I know that I've been on here, it's an hour and 23 minutes, and I really do gotta get off, but I want just a few last words about Charlie's work and how that impacts and will continue to impact women, not just here in the States, but around the world. Please and thank you. I want to end with that because it's huge. To me, it's huge. And then tomorrow we'll look into the autism and the vaccines and whatnot. Women moving forward. Okay. So let's look at this. All right. Okay, you guys, you can see that. Let me just move you that way just a little bit. I got them in the wrong place. So women emotionally, right? Because that's a cup, and that's the Queen of Cups, and so this is starting about women. So women will be focused moving forward, right? They'll be much more emotionally focused moving forward. Their intuition, their feelings will move them forward, seeking information now instead of just absorbing things, right? So women are changing moving forward. Women and families are being moved out of troubled water. So that's a good thing. So women are going to be focused moving forward. They're going to see through this sovereignty that they've been told to, like, oh, you don't need a man. You don't need anybody. You can do this on your own. I mean, they're going to start seeing and feeling clearly how this system tricked them. How they were tricked by the powers that be. And this is a foundation, this sovereign, I don't need anybody foundation that women have been kind of absorbed into is coming to an end. There's a big shift coming. And that shift is going to highlight the great change that's going on within these power structures that have been kind of brainwashing people. And that's going to pull families back together under that divine love. Move us more out of that turmoil, kind of bumpy water that we've been in. Let us see things for what they are, and allow men to be men and women to be women, and move us into like much smoother sailing emotionally than we have been. It's a big wake-up call for women. Women are going to see how the systems tricked them, and they're going to come to life. So it's a big deal for women, and it's going to be a big focus. Lots of women moving forward are going to see how this sovereignty bullshit has been a big trick via the systems. Moving forward, they're going to be moving into smoother sailing, because they're going to see how this foundation was never built solidly anyway. Big wake-up call for women. It's going to spark the light back into them. So that's exciting, and I'm happy about that. And this is where we're moving forward on the feminine side. This is how we bring the divine feminine back in. And it's funny because it's saying here that the men woke up first. So I think maybe it was a lot of guys at like the Charlie Kirk movement and stuff, but the boys kind of waking up to it first. So the boys are sort of waking up to it first, but the girls are coming along. So that's going to make good, strong families, because the boys are waking up to wanting to be like real men and wanting to have like real women. And now the women are going to be waking up to being like real women. And they're going to see how they were tricked and deceived, come into this like spark of wake up. And, you know, families will be this old, it's just me and I'm good foundation is just crumbled, because it was never strong. And these guys will be exposed in it. Like, the reasons why that agenda was pushed will be exposed, because all is exposed with judgment. So that's a really, like, that's a big deal for me. I'm very happy about this. I'm super happy about this. So, yeah, anyways, we're leaving off there. Just want to see. I got it. The women will be shown the deceit. So there we go. And so so today I did this the same day as the one that you're seeing today, which is the 16th. But this will go up on the 17th. And the next day, we're being advised to look into autism and the jabs. So there's some stuff that the universe wants to say about that, as all of that news is ready to come out. So rejoice, you guys. Women will finally be seeing that they were deceived. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to celebrate. All right, it's 9:19. I'm out of here. I love you guys. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you soonish. All right, bye.